Hi, I'm Curious Vedanth, and welcome to season 3 of my podcast. Today, my guest is Venkatesan Iyengar, who is a renewable energy specialist based in Spain. Hi, Venkat. Welcome to my show.
Hello, Vedant. It's a pleasure being here talking to you. And I'm eager to share what I can. And yeah, it's fun talking to you.
Yeah, even I'm really excited. I've seen lots of windmills when I'm going to the airport, but now, since we can't go to the airport, those are the windmills I've seen.
That's good. We'll make sure you can see more of them. And the way things are going, I'm sure we'll have a lot of windmills and solar farms all around you.
Yeah. So, Venkat, I'm curious to know what is renewable energy?
As we need energy for everything that we do, just to move around, do our daily stuff. So we get energy from food. But at the same time, in our daily lives, we need energy. Like you have energy at home to run your ceiling fan, to run your lights. And then you need energy in vehicles, in cars, and trains, and aeroplanes, and so on. Renewable energy is something that, as it says, is renewable, meaning you can keep finding it around you in nature and you're not consuming it. So take, for instance, like battery in your phone is like energy or stored energy, but then that battery keeps going down as you use your phone. But renewable energy is there around you. So what is renewable energy? For an example, the single biggest form of energy on all of Earth is the sun. The sun is burning out there and it's giving us heat, which is a form of energy. It is also giving radiation, like light, which is radiation, which is energy. And because of that, it causes wind. So wind is a form of energy. So all these energy sources in the nature is what we call renewable, because to the extent that we know, they're always there. The wind is blowing, the sun is there. So it's not like it's going to go out compared to other forms of energy, which will eventually run out in nature. Take coal, for instance. We think we have a lot of it, but well, we keep digging up the mines, and that's running out. So is oil, and so on. So renewable energy is something that's there, that's almost perennial.
And renewable energy can never run out?
That's a good question. We hope it will not run out, but at least not in our lifetime or a few lifetimes. Okay, scientists say the sun has got a life, but it's like billions of years and it might run out of fuel in a billion years. And yeah, but otherwise, you're not going to run out of renewable energy for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Why is renewable energy better for the planet?
The answer to that is simple. It's sustainable. That's what nature gave us. Okay. And what is the alternative? If not renewable energy, what? So if you look into your lives, pretty much, or at least most of our energy comes from what we call fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are old plants and animals that died off a million years ago, and nature has converted them into coal, into oil, and so on. But it's basically carbon and other chemicals along with it. And what we have been doing, it's like the nature's battery, and we have been tapping into that battery really fast. So what took nature million and billions of years, we've consumed a majority of it in just a matter of 100 years. And all that carbon and all that pollution and all those chemicals have spilled into our atmosphere, in our waters, in our land, and it is slowly beginning to have negative effects. That's what we call climate change, is changing the way various seasons come, how animals move across, how plants grow, and it's having a profound impact on our life. So the best alternative to that is renewable energy, meaning be with the nature and take what nature is giving you and not cause any harm to the nature. So that's why renewable energy is better.
Even I agree that renewable energy is way better, and at least it isn't doing any harm to anything yet.
That is true. Absolutely. We should try never to do harm to our surroundings. You don't want your house to be dirty or your house to be unsafe. So planet Earth is like the home for all of humanity. So we have to never do any harm to the home that we live in.
Even though renewable energy is so much better for the planet, why do we still use fossil fuels and other non-renewable energy?
Very good question. It's so evident that we should be using renewables. It's interesting. You might find it interesting that renewable energy has been in use for thousands of years. Windmills or wind turbines, as we know it today, they started out in Persia, I don't know, thousands of years back, where farmers used to use it to, bring water out of the well or to, grind the wheat and rice into flour and other products. So it's been there. And the first vehicle or the car or motor, as we call it, which was, I think, about 150 years back, there were two solutions for it. One was biodiesel, basically an extract from vegetable oil. So that's renewable because it's again from the nature, and electricity. But then mankind found oil and coal and found that it is really cheap. So it was basically a short term or a short sighted approach by mankind that let's go with a cheaper, quicker option rather than look for our future and what is in the best interest for future. As kids, I know we all like, say, food that we want to eat. I don't know, French fries or burgers or anything like that. But I know your parents keep telling that you should have your vegetables. So once in a while, having food that you like is good because you like it, it tastes nice, gives you the satisfaction at that moment. But like your parents tell, the vegetables are good. You might not like it today, but that's what is going to keep you healthy and fit all your life. So it's something like that we chose to go with fossil fuels in a very short-sighted move compared to learning from our forefathers that we should use renewable energy. And well, that's where we are today. So simple answer is we decided to think short term instead of long term. Unfortunately, we didn't think for your generation, which I think is very important because we or our parents will leave Earth, but we leave the polluted planet for the future generations like you.
I'm going to make sure to try the best I can to tell people to use more renewable energy.
That's so wonderful of you. Great. All the best.
Can you tell me how wind energy works?
Okay, I'll try to keep it simple so that most of your viewers can understand. I'm pretty sure most of your viewers and you have seen a fan, a ceiling fan, or maybe the table fan that you have to keep you cool when it's hot. So you have a motor that takes in electricity, and then in front of the motor you have these things called blades or wings, whatever you want to call it, and that's shaped or designed in such a manner that it pulls the air from behind it and pushes it in front at fairly good speed so that you can feel the breeze coming to you and that keeps you cool. Wind turbine is something in the reverse. So you have wind and breeze in the nature, especially when you go to certain close away from city, you have some places where you have very good strong winds. And when you put up a wind turbine there, so just imagine the fan is throwing the wind away. Instead, now you have wind coming towards the same fan, and the blades will do the reverse. Instead of spinning and pushing away air, they take in air and start spinning. Now, if instead of a motor, you put a little generator behind, like you have a dynamo or something, it'll actually start generating energy. Now, imagine this to be really big, massive fans, big blades, and when the wind hits these fans, they start spinning, and that's connected to a generator. They generate electricity. That electricity then through the cable system and the wires and electricity network reaches your home, the offices, the metro lines, and so on. So that's how wind energy works in a very simple manner.
When you look at a windmill, it looks very complicated, but I've actually now realized it's actually very simple.
Very true. The basic concept is very simple. As I said, it was so simple that thousands of years ago, we had people who were using it in their daily lives. So all we have done is improved upon that age-old design, made it more efficient, and repurposed it for our needs. So basically generating electricity. So essentially, it's a form of energy. You can use it for anything that you want. You can convert into any form of energy that you want.
What are the different everyday items that can use renewable energy?
Essentially, anything that runs on electricity. So today, most of these items, depending on where you are, they run on either coal or gas or any other form of fossil fuel. Instead, if you have more wind turbines in the area that you live, all of that is powered by wind or in some cases solar or any other form of renewable energy. Yes, so it touches all our lives. Essentially, anywhere you think you can use electricity, it could come from wind turbines. And that's the great thing.
That's very nice. How can me and my listeners help in making renewable energy more popular?
That's a very good question. As you said earlier, you want to promote renewable energy. So I would say go do it. Talk to people about it. Make sure they know about renewable energy. They make sure how it affects us and our planet. You might have probably heard about Greta Thunberg, who is a renewable energy activist. She's been pushing for the cause of taking actions against climate change. So you should, in your best way possible, reach out to your community, your schools, adults in position of power, probably your local councillor or politicians, or even an electricity company to ask how much renewable energy they're using. Where are you getting your energy from? Can we create more energy? So this is a very simple thing that you can do, creating awareness. But the action doesn't stop at just promoting renewable energy. As I said earlier, we're talking about climate change. Our Earth, planet Earth is polluted, and we don't know. Probably we might not be able to fully fix it in one lifetime, but we can surely make an effort. So I think it's important to look towards that cause. And renewable energy is one important, but just one part of the larger puzzle. So what can we do to reverse climate change besides just renewable energy? First thing in our daily lives is very simple, what I call the 3 Rs. So reduce, reuse, recycle. So reduce anything that you don't need, electricity consumption, water consumption, reduce all wastage possible. Think twice before consuming whether you really need it. So you don't, if you reduce wastage, you are saving energy, you're saving waste, and hence reducing pollution. Reuse, if you don't need it, like old clothes, old stuff, old appliances, pass it on to anybody who probably might need it, okay, rather than it going to a landfill. And lastly, when none of this is possible, simply recycle. I think recycling is a very, very effective method. You won't believe the wind turbine has got a life of 20, 25 years. But even while we are designing the wind turbine, we think about how we can recycle it. What happens to all the steel? How does the copper go? And this plastics and this glass fiber and wood inside. So how do we reuse that or repurpose that? And in fact, we are required by law to have a recycling plan for the wind turbines because we'll put up the wind turbine today, but 20, 25 years later, it's going to be somebody else who's going to be, once it is done with its life, taking it out. So we want to make sure we recycle as much. As young people, I would encourage you to think of climate change and climate action as part of whatever you want to do. So if you want to be an engineer or a scientist, think if you can contribute to renewable energy. We need more engineers to design future turbines, more efficient turbines, bigger turbines in solar energy. So we would like future scientists to think on those lines. So you want to be, I don't know, you want to study law or be an advocate like your father, you can take up the cause of climate action there, maybe helping implementing some of these climate laws and punishing or bringing those who pollute to in front of law. So anything that you take up, you can see how you can contribute to climate action. So think about what you want to do and how you can contribute to climate action. Lastly, and the most simple thing I would say, everything that I've said so far helps reduce the impact on climate, helps save the planet a little bit, but it doesn't repair the planet. And I think the most elemental thing that we can do is plant trees. Trees are our best friends. They're the ones who give us oxygen, and nothing that we do can have such a profound impact as planting more and more trees. So not just plant them, but nurture them. You would be surprised to believe 9 in every 10 tree samplings die, only one survives. So nurture them till they reach an age and size that they can survive and give us all oxygen. So these are the basic things that I would advise your generation to look out for. And I think if this happens, I'm very confident that we all have a better and a more healthy future.
In Singapore, you can just call the person who gives you energy, call the company, and then you can ask them to give you renewable energy. But it's more expensive than normal energy. Why?
That's true, and it's good that you're given the option to choose renewable energy. Historically, as I said, the fossil fuel was much cheaper, and we chose to have the cheaper option. But of late, renewable energy has become more cost competitive. It is not as expensive as it was before, but it's still a little expensive. But I would ask you to look at it this way. Don't just look at the cost that you pay today. As I said, look at the long term. Because of the fossil fuels, you have health impacts. This pollution, which is affecting all of us, there's loss of medical cost, and then there's medical lives that are at stake. You spend time away from schools and offices if you're not. There's also emotional pain because of it. We're polluting our waters. Someday we'll probably have to struggle to get fresh water. So I think the cost of renewable energy is not properly measured compared to fossil fuel. We're just looking at a very small picture rather than looking at a big picture. And besides that, as I said, I'm very confident that in future, renewable energy will be so much more cost effective. It will not be as expensive as you say, especially if we have future engineers and scientists like you who come and help make renewable energy even more efficient.
Yeah, I think I'll try my best to keep planting more trees, because in my balcony right now, a few carrots and other plants are growing.
That's good. That's great. I think not just plant more trees, but also inspire others to plant trees. I think you lead by example, Vedant. That's what you should do.
What made you choose to work in the renewable energy sector?
I think it was more like the sector chose me rather than I chose the sector. I didn't have any specific plan, but I knew I would like to be more useful to people around me than just earn a living. I was actually in a totally different job profile when I suddenly got a call from a company in renewable energy. And I was very excited to be working for a company that's leading the future of energy. I would say since then, I haven't looked back. It's been over 10 years. Most of my life has been in renewable energy, earlier in India and now in Spain. And I think, yeah, it's just the satisfaction that I am doing my part in making our planet safer, healthier, and greener.
That's very nice. What did you want to be as a child?
I actually wanted to do something with aeroplanes. So I can say aeronautics and aeroplanes. Things don't go as you always want them to, but I think I'm happy because I'm still working with the wind, so not far off. And I still pursue my interest in aeronautics and aerospace in my free time, trying to read up on what's happening. Yeah, so I keep in touch, but I have no regrets. I think I'm doing a much better and a much more satisfying job in the industry and in a sector that I am right now than in aerospace. Probably it was just my calling that I'm here and I'm quite happy with it. To be honest, as a kid, I was curious, just like you. So that curiosity stays with me even now. So I try to read up on different things. I try to find out how things work, why are things the way they are, and so on a variety of subjects, science, politics, entertainment, you name it. And if I find it interesting enough, I will go read up on it, or I don't know, watch some videos that explain me. I watch a lot of TED Talks, a lot of people sharing their experience. Yeah, so I like reading stuff. I wouldn't call myself a bookworm, but I do read up some good books that I come across. If I find them interesting, or maybe one of these short reads or articles will prompt me to go read up the whole book. So I go read up. So yeah, I like to keep myself always in the learning mode, if you might call. Besides that, I like traveling to see new places, meet new people, especially from a cultural aspect, to understand how their culture, their language, and their life is different from ours. I'm enjoying my life here in Spain. It's very different. The culture is very different here, but yeah, it's nice. I like to continue exploring.
Those are some very interesting hobbies. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Hey, thank you, Vedant. It was a real pleasure being here and being able to talk to you and share my thoughts. And I wish you all the very best. And to be honest, I think you are an inspiration to a lot of kids around. And yeah, I keep telling people about you, and I just hope at least some of them follow your lead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear listeners, follow my Facebook page, Curious Vedanth, to get updates on my upcoming episodes. To listen at leisure on your phone and get notified about future episodes, subscribe by searching for Curious Vedanth wherever you get your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can also listen to my show at curiousvedant.com. Thank you for listening to Curious Vedanth, and don't forget to rate and leave comments.